chasing fame ultimately led to my destruction of myself and chasing what I thought the world wanted to see me as. And every time I would do a project or work with a new creator, I thought it would like sort of bring me up the fame ladder, if you will, and I lost myself in it. I got famous for being a fucking scammer and being canceled and like all of this craziness, and fame for my little 15 minutes of fame. And so I just kept chasing external validation over and over and over, and it ultimately led to losing myself, and in a bad way. I couldn't see a way forward. I didn't have any motivation to work. I didn't have any ambition left. I was so burnt out chasing external validation and the desire to have people love me and see me that I reached for Adderall. Ultimately, I lost myself for years, addicted to drugs. I don't even remember half the time because of the addiction to Adderall. It was literally wake up, take a pill, sit at my computer, chase fame, work, try to land up brand deals, try to line up press, try to do this, just chasing external validation constantly. Fame almost destroyed me. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to talk to you today. And frankly, chasing fame is something that like many of us do in the influencer space. And specifically, if you're like reaching out for connection on the internet, there's like this sort of idea that fame could come from it. I, on the other hand, completely lost myself to fame. Completely. And I wouldn't even like call myself famous or that I worked with famous people. I don't even know, like that's such a crazy word. But the reality is I nearly destroyed myself. I was chasing love from the outside world and external validation and chasing what I thought the world wanted to see me as. And every time I would do a project or work with a new creator, I thought it would like sort of bring me up the fame ladder, if you will. And I lost myself in it. After TanaCon happened, after I got canceled, I kind of thought that that was the end. When the Hulu documentary came out, there was also some like dreams attached to fame. I want to be famed. But the real concept of like fame is I want to be loved by everyone. And it's the resource of being seen, right? And having people hear you and see you. And so like, I felt so unseen as a child and in my life and misunderstood, especially by the whole TanaCon situation and Dr. Phil and all these things. I got famous for being a fucking scammer and being canceled and like all of this craziness, and fame for my little 15 minutes of fame or whatever the fuck was from TanaCon drama and things that I wasn't proud of instead of the work that I was really doing, right? But I was outsourcing and chasing my love and my self-worth to being seen by everyone else and having everyone see me as successful, as famous, whatever the fuck. And I thought when Dr. Phil came out that would make people like me. I don't know. There was like a double-edged sword that came with being recognized in public. Like I kind of liked being recognized, right? Like that was like cool. But then I really hated that I was being recognized for, because there was so much shame attached to it. So like that part really sucked after I got canceled and, you know, all of that shit. But I think that like it goes deeper, right? Once I got hooked on this industry, which I've been managing influencers for over 10 years, for those that don't know, working with some of the biggest names in the world, biggest celebrities in the world, biggest brands in the world. When TanaCon happened, I like lost it all, right? It was so bad. And so I became really depressed, and I'm just now starting to get over that depression because I'm finally getting the help that I need. But basically, I was outsourcing. Instead of looking inward, I was outsourcing my feelings about myself to other people and chasing an idea of what I thought people would love me as instead of just me, and like being myself and being loved for being myself. And the only way that I knew how to see I didn't see a way forward, and chasing that constant, I need to be with influencers, I need to be with professional people. And I still struggle with this sometimes, is like some sort of superiority complex, but chasing fame ultimately led to my destruction of myself. This is hard. This is way harder than I thought about. I don't know why. Fame ultimately destroyed who I was as a person. And it's crazy that I let it get so bad, but I did. What happened was after TanaCon, I reached for the only option that I saw forward. And that was working my way out of the hole and I guess trying to prove who I really should be famous for. Like, I should be known for this, not because of TanaCon or this or whatever the fuck, or Dr. Phil or Hulu. I should be known for this. And I kept chasing external validation. Fame, if you're chasing it, is literally chasing external validation. But anyways, because I was chasing external validation, I was dressing myself in Balenciaga, Gucci, I was chasing fame and I was chasing external validation and I was chasing a version of myself that I thought people needed and wanted to see. And so I went on, Dr. Phil, please vindicate me. Tell my story. Let me see who I believe that I am. Let the world see me. Let everyone see who I really am. Hulu, I had thought Hulu was gonna let everyone see who I am. And for you that don't know, I am in a documentary called Jawline on Hulu about me and Bryce Hall and like my clients compared to this kid, Austin. Anyways, I thought when people saw that they would see me again and see the person that is me. And so I just kept chasing external validation over and over and over. And it ultimately led to losing myself and in a bad way. I couldn't see a way forward. I didn't have any motivation to work. I didn't have any ambition left. I was so burnt out chasing external validation and the desire to have people love me and see me that I reached for Adderall. And it was pretty much right after TanaCon, actually, and started eating this drug to bury my feelings and only chase fame and like success and whatever version of myself that would make people love me for me. And I thought I was gonna be this big talent manager and everyone would love me because I can change their lives and change their careers and put them in the right direction and all of these things that were just like false narratives I was telling myself. And ultimately, it cost me my entire mental health. And the first thing I would do when I wake up, eat an Adderall. And then an hour later, I would still be feeling pain, so I'd eat another Adderall. And then I would still be feeling pain, so I'd eat another Adderall. I was going through and how the doctors and pharmacists let this happen should speak to America's substance abuse problems. But I would eat half a bottle of a month prescription. I'd eat half of the month's prescription in a week. It was bad. I call myself not eating. And it didn't get that bad right away, right? It started with really taking an Adderall and it kind of worked, right? Because it was strong. And so it would take it away. I would work and I'd be like, yes, I'm chasing my dreams. I'm chasing my vision. I'm chasing this, and trying to work through it. And it gave me some power to do that, right? But I was loveless. I had no life, no love in my life, no people, no community, no connection, and so much internal shame that I refused to take accountability for, that I just was a monster. And I had influencers who came and lived with me at some point during this addiction cycle. And ultimately I drove them away because all I did was take Adderall, sit at this desk and chase fame and chase external validation. That's really what you're chasing. And it wasn't until real love came in my life and loving myself the way that I deserve to be loved outside of external validations, but really trying to work on who I am and love myself, that I can now see how fucked up that was. And I have literal chill bums talking about it because it was so dark. You can't imagine how bad addiction to something like Adderall is. And I look back at it and I'm really kind of disgusted by it. And this is one of the first times that I'm doing this publicly and for myself. And it's just I wanted to be loved so badly that I was willing to sacrifice everything. Family connections, personal connections, the momentary joy of doing anything in your life that brought you fulfillment, and literally just sit at this computer, eat Adderall, and work non-stop. And work was just doing whatever version would get me seen, right? If that meant helping an influencer build a brand so that they would be yes, he can help me be seen and he can launch me to my dreams, so I love him. Or if it was reach out to Dr. Phil, see if he'll help me get seen for who I want to be. It was just chasing external validation. And it's not something that I want to do anymore. And I try not to do, but there are times that I catch myself being ugh, fame. Doesn't everyone want to be famous in some way, right? You want to have the resource of being seen, known, heard, loved. That idea is cool to everyone. What's bad is not having balance, right? And sacrificing everything in your life for it to a point in which you destroy who you are. And at that point, what are you going to be known for, right? Because you've destroyed all of yourself. And people just see the bad things because that's all that's left. And I've been to the darkest pits of myself. And I can tell you that it is brutal. Do not lose yourself chasing fame. It's okay to have goals and dreams, sure. You can want to be seen and loved and heard and, have the resource of fame, sure. But that can also come from within yourself and in your community and just showing up for who you really are and who you really want to be so that people can see you that way. That's all it takes. And it's scary, even for myself now, because I feel that you open yourself up to criticism and judgment, right? But so does everyone else that's famous. What's not good is literally being willing to sacrifice everything in your being just to be seen. You have to be okay with being misunderstood. You have to be okay with not having people see you or hear you or whatever in order for people to hear and see you, because you're just performing a version of yourself that you think that they're gonna like. But that's not you. You're still performing for other people, right? In order to really truly have fame, you're gonna have to like embody who you are without reservation on other people so that you can just exist and be seen for who you are. Not be seen for a version of yourself that you think they like, but be seen for who you really are without filter, right? Big difference. And once you do that, then you can open yourself up to the resource of fame. Sure, what I was doing, fucked up, wrong. I can sit here now because I've learned from that and talk about it and like hopefully help you through it. Especially if you want to be famous, right? Like this, take this cautionary tale and do not do it for external validation. Do not chase a version of yourself that you think other people will like. It's not going to work. You need to do what you like and who you are and all of that, right? And I literally destroyed myself. Addicted to Adderall. Like that's not even a fun drug, right? Like there's nothing fun. Sure, I was getting a high, but that high was like, I'm working on my dreams. I'm locked in. I'm focused. I'm like dopamine as fuck. I'm going to get famous. I'm going to help my friends get famous. They're going to love me for making them famous. Like this mentality that was just everything else around me didn't matter. And I'm sorry if you were in my life at that time and I was not a version of myself that loved you or treated you right, because there was very little love in myself, frankly none. And I was seeking it externally, screaming, love me, love me, love me. And like ultimately was a shell of myself. And doing that destroyed me completely. Let's talk about the spiral of my addiction and how it kept getting worse and worse. When I would take an Adderall in the morning, I would work, right? Essentially, nothing in the day mattered. No time, no nothing, no food, nothing mattered but the drug and the high and getting away from my emotions and seeking validation and seeking love through my work. And this continuous cycle that was horrible, horrible, horrible. As soon as it started to wear off and it was nighttime and I was like, okay, well, I know I have to sleep if I could sleep at all, right? But most of the time I couldn't sleep. I would reach for alcohol. First off, if I hadn't eaten most of the day, I would take a fuck ton of food and try to like fill the void in my stomach, right? Like literally shoving in pizza rolls, whatever, because I didn't eat all day long, binge in the evening, still felt empty, still couldn't sleep, still felt like a crackhead, a literal crackhead. So then I would drink and try to watch TV and numb myself out and drink alcohol. And that alcohol would hopefully make me fall asleep. And then I would fall asleep. But most of the time it didn't. And then I'd be spinning in bed, literally head spinning, hungover, coming down from an Adderall high, eating junk food, like feeling horrible about myself physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. Then I would wake up because I didn't really sleep. I might have closed my eyes for like 20 minutes. The Adderall had like sort of worn off by like 6 in the morning and the alcohol spins had slowly stopped by like 6 in the morning. Drink some water and be like, all right, I'm still alive. Wake up, pop another Adderall, hit the desk. That would numb out all the other feelings about the hangover of the food, everything. And then I would just wake up the next day and do it again and again and again and again and again and again until it got worse. And I would eat more Adderall and then worse and eat more Adderall until one day I found myself standing in front of a toilet, throwing up. And I was like, what is happening? Oh my God, I have no control because I'm eating a drug. And turns out it was like serotonin syndrome, basically. And like I had nearly overdosed and laid in the bed shaking, essentially having a seizure, but like undiagnosed. Somehow I made it out of that and tried to work on myself and realized, okay, this has got to stop. This is getting bad. At that point, I had already been through a second bankruptcy and lost my other business, Juice Crate Media Group, who managed big influencers and did some big projects in that time, but all from a place of like darkness, really, and like want and need and like scarcity. And I'm still dealing with the consequences of that now. But eventually, God sent me a beautiful sign of love, and a beautiful person who had a lot of patience came into my life. And together we worked through a lot of my problems. And I'm still working on myself, but it gave me light. I saw light in the world because I eventually was like, I've got to stop this. This is killing me. I tried to wean myself off and get to a point in which I could come to you now and tell you all the things that I've been through and be okay with it and like want to help you through it. If you've been out there and you're struggling or you lost yourself chasing fame, or not even that, but like maybe you got addicted to Adderall, maybe you got addicted to a different substance, chasing love. It doesn't even have to be fame, right? Fame is just love. Maybe you were chasing, and frankly, we're all chasing love. We all are just human beings that want to be loved. That's it. We want love. We want to love each other and be loved fully for who we are. Outside of that, nothing else matters. And it gets hard, right? People put their own feelings in the way of being loved because they feel unworthy of being loved, right? Like I did. And I still struggle with it, right? Like this morning, when I was getting dressed, putting on my underwear, I literally for a second had a thought, I need to wear some old underwear because I'm not worthy of this new Skims that I bought. I'm worthy of it. What the fuck? I'm worthy of it. What the fuck? That's just old programming coming back into my mind saying you're still not worthy of the things that you desire or deserve or love. And like, that's frankly because of trauma, and the world told me that, right? But you have to overcome that. And it's hard. It's really hard. But you know, love will get you through it. Love is how you do it. Love for yourself, love for the joy in life, love for who your future self could be with love in it. If you cannot love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love someone else? Can I get an amen? Thank you, Mama Roo. Like, literally the truth. And chasing fame is not love. Chasing love is not love. Love is love, baby girl. And like, I encourage each of you to take stock of your life for a second. We've made it this far in the video. Take stock of your life and ask yourself if you're on the right path. Be conscious of your surroundings and your desires and say, do I love the person that I am or am becoming? If you do, great. You're probably on the right path. If there's even one part of you that's like, something feels off, it probably is. And listen to yourself. You're literally telling yourself something feels off. What is it? And then start to ask those questions and go deeper, go within yourself and find what's going on. Because being on autopilot and just not being conscious of your life and your love and your desires in life will lead you to death and destruction and decay, internal decay, spiritual decay, mental decay. And it takes months to recover, years. I'm still recovering. I'm on antidepressants, still recovering from the madness that was chasing fame. And it's not like, I had seen fame my whole life, right? Well, not my whole life. I grew up in a small town, moved to LA, and then ultimately idolized being seen. I idolized fame. I idolized being loved because I didn't have it much as a child the way that I thought I should. And so I instantly was like, yes, someone of high importance, love and see me. Please see me. Please love me. Please tell me that I'm worthy of loving myself. And like, can't do that. That's not going to get you there. But I'm here to tell you that you are worthy of love. You are worthy of light. You are worthy of all of it. Do not chase it externally because it will lead to your destructions. And I want you to live the best life you can possibly live. I want the world to be a better place for you, for all of us. I want there to be more love in the world. I want you to be an emblem of love and know that I love you, each and every one of you. And I struggle sometimes, sure. And I don't have it all figured out. But I'm a work in progress every single day. I'm working on myself and I'm 1% better than I was the day before. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be 1% better than the day I was today, right? And every single day, 1% over a year is 365% better than you were a year ago, right, baby girl? So strive for that life. And with that, fame almost destroyed me. I think that's my story today. That is my story about how fame destroyed me and chasing fame destroyed who I am and who I wanted to be and how I lost myself chasing fame. And again, I just want to remind you that I love you and I will see you next week. Have a great week this week. Bye, baby girl.